Hello everyone and welcome back to Boater Plays Something. We are playing The Outer Worlds, previously broadcast on The Citadel over at Insane Games TV. If you're interested in that channel, you can check it out in the description below, but in the meantime, let's play something. And a quick note that game audio is going to be loud in this episode. It was improperly set before the stream started, and stays that way for basically the rest of the stream. It is fixed in the next stream, but that means that this episode and a few future episodes are going to have loud game audio. I apologize. There is nothing I can do. Please bear with me. Just look around. A terminal. Oh, I can't look at that. Zone, Byzantium, Bureau, Jason. Well, you can actually read a fair amount of that. That's impressive. I didn't expect that to be so highly detailed. Welcome to Graham Bryant's personal conglomeration of notes, theories, and findings. Notes, theories, and findings regarding philosophism and how it informs our lives. I have organized into three categories: the iconoclast, the Halcyon colony, and the universe. Superfluous commas are not to be trusted, apparently, because that's an Oxford comma, but not a regular comma! The first list has no commas at all. The second list has only an Oxford comma. So he is clearly Oxford comma agnostic. Has no particular belief in it either way. Access files on the Halcyon colony. Available files. The board's lies. The board vastly overestimates their authority and grasp on power. Without the Earth Directorate's military might to back them up, they would not be able to maintain their life-draining grip on the colony's throat. They spread lies and misinformation to confuse and oppress the masses. Perhaps that's one of the reasons they have not allowed any colony ships since the Hope's disappearance. They've had 70 years to condition their good little workers to follow their directives unquestioningly. Their lies become more and more transparent as the years pass, and will soon be too obvious for even the most deluded colonists to see, unless their pace of unless the rate of propaganda outpaces the rate at which their lies get bad, in which case a dim-witted populace is a docile populace. The oppression must end. A man from Byzantium told us of an acquaintance who had been arrested for carrying philosophist texts. Not teaching, not evangelizing, just carrying. They oppress any truth that threatens their corrupt structure. Is this what we want? Do we want to live in a society where we can be sent to Tartarus for our beliefs? No. Their workers' minds are poisoned, their will shackled, their dreams hamstrung. This can stand no longer. We must tear this entire regime down. This is definitely a bug with the Halcyon colony. The dangers of a corporate society. Oh my! I hope to someday publish a greater work in which I can more expansively lay out what is so clear to me, that our society's obsession with the corporate-run life has stifled and crippled humanity's ability to grow. Alas. For now, I can only collect my scattered thoughts into this barely functional machine. In my younger and more vulnerable days, I bought into the attraction of a corporate ladder. I measured quantifiable way with which a measured quantifiable way with which to judge oneself against one's peers. It provided motivation, meaning. That comma and semicolon should be swapped. Yet my spirit longed for more than just a paycheck. It yearned to reach out and connect with my fellow man. It sought a connection. It sought kin. It sought a familial unit. The corporations claimed they are that familial unit, but they treat us like pets. We beg for scraps at the table, and if they are so kind as to drop one, we praise the ground they tread on while they usher us into kennels called homes. We attach ourselves to contractually obligated familial units, strangers to whom we share no more connection than the employers seeking to empower themselves by our unions. We bear children out of the obligation to our executives who demand a constant workforce. We slave away in the vain hope that someday we too will be like those executives, until the day we die and are processed, burned, and filed away as another tick on a human resources paperwork. We have built ourselves into a cold, unthinking, efficient machine, and in doing so have abandoned all the warmth humanity is capable of. I weep for us all. So pro Oxford he eschews other commas. Oxford only. Since I work in copywriting, I'm going to share this with my boss tomorrow. Yes, please do. But here he uses the correct commas, spends the rest of the game analyzing his punctuation. Yeah, it's very... It's a little on the inconsistent side. I'm definitely seeing like some missed opportunities for commas, but I know that I also prefer the commas quite a bit. And some that I would put in would be considered superfluous, to which I say, screw you, that's the pace at which I want it read, so that's how I write it. I often recall my former friend who once sought to dismantle the corporations, as I still do. When he took ownership of our corporation, I held him in such contempt. I called him a coward, a betrayer. He was becoming the very thing we hated. Now I'm not so sure. Recently, I've come to accept that his heart was more closed than mine. I cannot expect every man to be able to open himself to the eternal truth as I have. Some are just not capable. And so it is a tragic thing. Tragic that he is weaker than I'd hoped, that he cannot fight for a cause. I can empathize with tragedy. Should the day come when the metal of our spirits clash against one another, that empathy will shield me from guilt. Like the board, he now stands across our path, arms crossed, stubbornly resistant to the eternal truth. Like the board, he spreads, nay, celebrates the poison that cripples our society. Like the board, his stubbornness will only blind him to his inevitable fall. Tragic. Hopefully I remember to do a push on my face when I say tragic when I go to edit. That's everything on Halcyon Colony. Access files on the... Oh, come on! Okay, so here's the... If I'm on 2, then it starts on 2. If I'm on 1, and there's only one choice, it's there. But if I go down to 3 and do that, there is no choice 3, so I have to exit the terminal all over again. Accessing the iconoclast. Available files. Personal thoughts regarding Zora. For someone who is so committed to the iconoclast way, I fear that Zora is slipping off the true path. More and more often, I fear her attachment to the materialism of our oppressors sways her decisions more than the search for the guiding truth that will save us. She often tells me that her people are hungry. I agree. That should be a period. Their spirits long for fulfillment, a much more powerful power than any pang of an empty gut. Teaching notes. Of all the things to motivate a person, I'm finding freedom has been the most powerful. Many of them still remember being slaves to the corporate structure, recalling those painful memories. That should be a period or a semicolon. Many of them still remember being slaves to the corporate structure. Recalling those painful memories lights their fire anew. A man from Fallbrook stopped through on his way to Stellar Bay. After thumbing through our pamphlet, he asked me how we can survive without money. I found an appropriate metaphor: gas masks. When clearing a mantis swarm nest, we must wear masks to ward off poisonous fumes. Even after the nest is cleared, the fumes may remain for some time. Thus, we wear the masks until we are safe to breathe. Until the very last dregs of our poisonous corporation society are gone, the attachment to bits will remain. Though their use is uncomfortable, and though they stifle our spirit just as the masks are ill-fitting and limit our vision, we must persist with them until we can cast them aside.
I don't like the masks. I can't breathe in them.
Shifting priorities. As our numbers grow, I find that more and more of our population turns to the written word of my pamphlets, and I am happy to continue making them, but I must find a more efficient way to print and distribute this reading material. I wonder if that old printing press might be convinced to run once more. Wouldn't that be something? To return to my duties as an editor in a publication, only this time of my own control, and not stifled by the rules and regulations of style guides and grammar books. Nobody will tell me where to put a comma! Sorry, I lost myself for a moment there. I'll put them where they belong, as decreed by the eternal truth! Sorry, I wasn't done. Oh my! That's what to share with your coworkers. Let me read this one again, knowing what's coming up. Wouldn't that be something? To return to my duties as an editor in a publication, only this time of my own control, and not be stifled by the rules and regulations of style guides and grammar books. Nobody will tell me where to put a comma. I will put them where they belong, as decreed by the eternal truth. I'm not sure which reading was better. Pick your favorite. Yes, okay, oh god, what? I wasn't in the dashboard. I don't know how far into the stream this is, but yes, I will look for that and clip it. Probably the one where I didn't realize it was coming will be the one clipped for Twitch. Oh my. Access files on the universe. Influence drift. I think all reading this is going to be its own episode on YouTube. When I realized the truth of philosophism, I immediately wondered how I could be the first to recognize the poisonous spiral that has shaped our society. Then one day I was talking to, of all people, Huxley. Oh my gosh, I recognize her. Hi, Huxley! You're on a terminal, and it's not your own diary. She once lamented that she'd like nothing more than a pet canid. I confess to know very little about animal behavior, as I am much more concerned with the animal that is mankind, but I stressed that I didn't think such a thing was possible. She let it go, but some weeks later Zora reported the strangest thing. Stories of a marauder with a canid follower. I don't know if it had been sighted here or on Terra 2, but I immediately thought of Huxley and her reckless, wild imagination. I wondered if she had told other people, and if word had spread at the possibility until it wriggled its way into the mind of marauders somewhere. Ideas are insidious. If even a marauder, mindless husk that it is, can be convinced of an idea, there must be hope for the workers of this colony, poisoned as they are against the eternal truth. If we can shout so loudly that the truth inches its way into the collective consciousness, I am confident that it will spread to the rest of the cosmos. This battery is trying to come out. Get back in there. Last entry. The suppression of the truth. It is very difficult to face the eternal truth, that everything happens for a reason, that life and everything in it is the will of the cosmic consciousness, that can be a terrifying... Okay, the eternal truth, begin parenthetical, done with commas, can be a terrifying one. Backtrack, because I thought eternal truth was just on its own, okay. It is very difficult to face the eternal truth, that everything happens for a reason, that life and everything in it is the will of the cosmic consciousness. No! This sentence doesn't work. I don't like this sentence. I'm gonna add a word. It is very difficult to face that the eternal truth, that everything happens for a reason, that life and everything in it is the will of the cosmic consciousness, can be a terrifying one. It is very difficult to face that the eternal truth can be a terrifying one. Oh yeah, sure. There is an urge among us all to control the parameters of one's life. This urge is so powerful that it suppresses the eternal truth simply by existing. Unnecessary comma. Although it can make for a reading pace thing. It's a decision. Mankind has not shed the weight of its own shackles, and so I find that spreading philosophism is unnecessarily difficult. But the universe cannot suppress it forever. Biology changes, creatures adapt and evolve. We overcome our urges for the better of our species. Someday our minds will be born more open to this idea. Period or semicolon. Until then, I must not abandon hope. Clip that, please. I want it on a t-shirt. I want a meme. Yo, is this copy here just to bother people like you and I? This is cruel! Why do you do this to us, game writer? Yeah, I want that. This, I kind of want nobody will tell me where to put a comma on a Citadel t-shirt. I'll ask. I'll see if that's a thing that can happen. If you promise me you'll buy one, I might be able to get it made. Oh, okay.